It should be coming any second.
All right.
All right. Welcome, everybody.
Hi.
Hello. Hello. This is Melanie from, where are
Life's.
you from? Life
I'm
Sweet
from
Journey.
I'm from Orlando. Well, no, now I'm from New Smyrna Beach, but I'm from Florida. Uh, Grew up in Orlando, and then we currently live over on the East Coast in New Smyrna Beach.
Sounds really nice. Do you get to be on the water a lot?
Yes, I see the water a lot. We are currently renting a condo from a friend of my mom's, and we have oceanfront view, which is really nice. We do not take as much time to go down to the ocean as we should. We probably go maybe once a week and do a beach walk, or we'll try and do like a beach cleanup. But we need to be more mindful about going down to the beach. We did really good when we first got here, and we're down, every other day. And then I'll go down and swim, but right now we just kind of look at it from upstairs.
Right. Well, that's amazing. You have that kind of view. There's something about living by water. Just amazing.
Yeah, it is really nice. I mean, I do enjoy just like waking up and seeing it, and it, being there. So.
That's great. I live by Minnesota, so there's lots of lakes here. But I've never actually lived by the water, but I've heard that it's wonderful.
Awesome. So how close is the nearest lake to you?
We have I'm in North Dakota, we have a man-made pond.
Okay.
Like about 20 minutes away. And then maybe 45 minutes from here, there's tons of lakes, beautiful lakes. Everybody seems to have some lake cabin or just lake time they go visit, or just lake stuff going on, either or just a boat or something like this, whether it's a little fishing boat up to bigger boats for tubing mostly, or something like that. Have you ever been tubing?
I have. I love tubing. It's been a long time since I've been tubing, so I don't know if my body could stand it anymore. Maybe a nice leisurely tube.
Yeah.
But I do. I love tubing.
It's so much fun. I guess it depends who's behind the wheel, how fast you want to go.
It does. It does. I tend to end up behind the wheel of people who make it their mission to throw me off. So, hence why I probably haven't gone on again. The last time I went was with my nieces, and that was perfect because it was their first time. So the driver was, going nice and slow and making sure they didn't freak out. So that was lovely.
I gathered from your YouTube videos that you love your family and your nieces and nephews. How old are they?
Yes, I do.
You're watching.
They're my world. They range from 15, almost 16. He'll be 16 at the end of the month, to 4. So I have 2 nephews and then 3 nieces. So they're kind of all over the place. The youngest 2 being, I have a nephew who just started kindergarten, and then a niece who just started pre-K, and then elementary school, middle, and high school.
Wow, I bet that's fun. People see them go from all the way up to 16. That's a lot of years.
Yes, it's definitely interesting just to watch like them grow, and the changes that come when my cool aunt status slowly declines the older they get.
Well, even if they don't say it, I'm sure they appreciate you.
They are sweet about it, and they're I try and take them, and like I'll take my nephew loves Chipotle. I'm assuming that's what he'll want to do again this year, but we try and take him to Chipotle for his birthday. Just my husband and I and him, so that he kind of gets his own time. So we'll do that, or if he prefers something else, we'll do something else. So
yeah, that's great. Well, so tell us about yourself, and what is your YouTube channel about? What do you do for work? Tell me everything.
So I'm a bit all over the place. I don't know if you know anything about the Enneagram, but I am an Enneagram 7, and I'm pretty true to form with that. So I teach with VIP Kid. I also just started a job doing social media marketing with my cousin's company called Social Creative. And I've only been a month in, but I'm really enjoying that. And then I also currently manage a wine bar in New Smyrna Beach. So I'm all ends of the spectrum. I went from education, a little backstory. I grew up in Orlando. I've always worked with kids, always. I was a nanny for many years, and the 4 kids in our wedding video stuff on YouTube are my 2 nieces and nephews at the time, and then the kids I nannied for, who are just as much family to me as my own nieces and nephews. And so I knew I wanted to work with kids and thought, well, education. Then I spent 2 years in the classroom and went back to nannying. I missed just kind of that one-on-one connection. And so I've kind of job hopped. I did teach preschool for a while and loved that. And then also worked in children's ministry at our church. So I've gone from children's ministry. Now I manage a wine bar, and I don't really know a lot about wine, but I'm learning. So that is kind of a little bit of my work history. But our YouTube channel, or my YouTube channel, I say our, but my husband prefers to kind of be the back seat. He'll be in the videos when I can get him to, but for the most part, it's about our time. We spent 9 months living in our RV, traveling the US. And so the majority of our channel is geared towards that. Just our travels, our time on the road. Now that we're back and we're stationary, I've started adding in book reviews and just some kind of day-to-day life stuff. So it's travel meets lifestyle. My husband and I have been married 10 years. And so just kind of sharing the adventures of marriage in our 30s. And day-to-day adventures here. I'm still working. I have so much backlog. I'm the worst with remembering to get, or not remembering, but just I need to take the time to get up some of our old videos. But
it is hard. I agree. Like, it's what is your goal for your YouTube channel? How many times would you, in the ideal world, like to post?
Ideally, at least once a week. I fail miserably at that and usually get about once a month. My big goal right now is just to get to twice a month, which I was doing better when we were on the road. And that was kind of my main job, was trying to grow the channel. And we were teaching in the mornings, and then we would do adventures in the afternoon. And I'd spend some of the time trying to get those, journeys up. But eventually my goal would be twice a month to then once a week.
That's awesome. That's one reason why I started doing lives this summer, because I couldn't do once a week.
Yeah.
It's too hard. It's too hard sometimes when life is happening, especially in summer. Like up north where we live, summer is the best time of the year.
I can imagine.
And so everybody's out. You're no longer sequestered. I mean, not that you have to be inside, but especially those of little kids. Your little kids don't want to. My little kids, at least my 2-year-old, she doesn't want to go in the snow. It's 20 degrees out.
How old are your kids too? And
my kids are 6 years old, 4 years old. So 6 years old, she's turned 6, 4.5, 2.5, and then a 7-month-old. And so they're spaced 2 years apart. And then so the older ones are now getting better about being outside when it's about 0. But it's so the littlest ones, you have to divide and conquer. The husband, you take these when he comes home, and then I hang out with the 2-year-old because she only be out there for 10 minutes and then I'm cold.
Yeah.
Maybe I need warmer gear. Maybe a signal.
There we go. Yeah. I don't know anything about that. I'm here where it's like, no, it's too hot to go outside. So summer is like, if we're not in the water, we're inside because it's just so hot that you can barely breathe. But I've always
a lot of humidity.
Oh yeah.
That too. Oh, okay. Yeah,
humidity is crazy.
That's tricky.
Yeah. So it's hot and it's sticky and it's just, if you're not by the water, like park days, like everything's burning, the slides, you can't go on them because you're going to, you know, burn your skin off. And even though they try and find the, you know, plastic that doesn't get hot, but that's a lie. It gets hot.
It's funny. You know, in the chat comments, welcome. My father-in-law is tuning in. Welcome, Charles Schwinghammer.
Hello.
If anybody's listening, you can chat in the chat box. Just a little picture of like how it looks like a text message. And just like you did, great. And Madam Minima, hi Pats. Hi Rachel, greetings from Luxembourg. She's another group. Yeah, you know her too.
Yeah.
Hello. Groups together. Yeah, she's watching. Isn't that cool? I don't even know what time it is. Pats, you should type what time it is right now in Luxembourg. We'd love to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was showing my kids today. Actually, I was watching one of her videos this morning. I'm so behind and watching some of her videos. We were watching just because I've been kind of, you know, like we were talking, taking a break from doing once a week. I'm trying to get back into it. I feel like I think you do many times have to give yourself a break in life, you know. So you just need to so that's what I did. To encourage you, Melanie. Sometimes we just need to do different things in life. Sometimes life can get so busy with different things. And the pandemic, anybody?
No, I fully understand that. I read something that was like some days there's balls that have to drop and that's okay. They can be, you know, they can drop for a little while so that you can keep the ones that need to stay up. Mm-hmm. And I'm just trying to be more mindful about that too. So.
That's good. Yeah, this is called Thankful Thursday. Anybody who hasn't tuned in before, 9:40 p.m. is what Madam Minima says. She has an organizing channel. Minimalist, like the channel. And so check her out. She's great. And Life Sweet Journey. I like seeing your travels. I think that's where I first watched some of your videos, Melanie, was all the places you've traveled. What are some of the most favorite places you've traveled before?
Idaho is amazing. And one, I will definitely check out your channel because we will probably be back in the camper, the minimalist channel, because we will most likely be back in the camper in January and we've accumulated more stuff again because we're now in a 2-bedroom condo and I'm going to have to say goodbye to a lot of it. She's selling the condo in January, but so yeah, but no, Idaho is amazing.
Really? That's the best state.
Yes, it's my favorite. And my husband laughs at me because he's like, stop telling people Idaho. I mean, and it's not that he disagreed with me. Yeah. He thought Idaho was great too, but he's like, you only liked it because the way we did it, we had to be on the East Coast until March because we had a wedding. And so we kind of stayed, we did Southeast. And then as soon as that wedding in March was over, it actually ended up getting the opportunity to go to Steamboat with some buddy passes that a friend had for skiing. So we booked it quickly out to Colorado, but we were there kind of at the end of winter going into spring. So everything was still, it wasn't snow, it was just pretty brown. And so we had a lot of brown for a while. And then when we crossed into Idaho, which we didn't plan to stay in Idaho. We planned to spend one night there, just going on to the next place. It was so green and there was waterfalls everywhere. Like we're literally crossing the bridge going into Twin Falls and you cross over the Snake River, I think. You cross over this big river down into like a valley and a gorge and there's just waterfalls. I mean, everywhere coming out of this thing. And then we see a guy jump off the bridge because he's baby jumping. There's
okay.
it was like great. So we ended up spending a week in Twin Falls, Idaho. And we drove over to this place called Shoshone. I may be pronouncing that wrong. Shoshone Falls. And we've never been to Niagara Falls. So that was like one of the biggest falls we'd ever seen. And it was just it was so beautiful. And just the whole state was incredible. We left Idaho, went up to Washington, did Oregon, Washington, and then we cut back through northern Idaho to do this bike trail called the Route of the Hiawatha, which is through it's an old train trail basically. So you're going through like tunnels and over train trestles, and it's all downhill. So it was perfect. It just kind of coasted. But that was beautiful too. So Idaho,
that sounds awesome.
Super underrated. Not just,
my uncle, they have like a condo or something that they rent out there, and they speak very highly of Idaho too.
Yes, if you ever get the chance to go and wherever they are, it really is incredible. I would love to go back and just spend a month kind of going all over.
You know, you have some friends here in the chat. It's Miss Kathy says, "Hi, Melanie. Melanie, I'm so proud of you."
Oh, thank you.
And Pastor Ron Estes, if I'm saying it right, from North Carolina.
Yes.
Says hello.
Hello. I love it.
And I have Thomas Reagan. That's my dad. He's saying hi.
Dad, I love you. I watched the video last week. He's awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, we like him a lot. And my grandma Sandy too. And the rest of the grandparents.
I love it.
Grandpa Charlie, we love you.
All the grandparents.
So I was like, gotta get everybody. So and there's more I haven't mentioned. I could go on, but I digress. This is about you, Melanie. So
no, I love it. I love it.
On your page, I appreciate it.
Of course, your dad's story was it touched my heart, and I loved hearing from him, and that was so great. My husband and I, at some point, plan to either foster or foster to adopt, and so it was just really cool to watch that and hear from him and watch you guys interact. I love watching the lives that I did on Facebook with my mom. I just love watching parents and children interact. It's just interesting.
Oh.
Especially like my mom, I'm like, oh mom.
You're so sweet. When you did the wine tasting with your mom,
yeah,
it was intriguing. Like it was one of the groups we were in, and I watched the whole thing. I was like, wow, this is so cute out there.
Oh, thank you.
I'm learning. I think I'm learning things of how to sip wine. Yeah. I'm breastfeeding right now, and I don't know what I tasted. Champagne.
Okay.
And I know I tasted wine before too, but I just don't have it very often at all. So it made me think maybe I should try it when I go somewhere. I should maybe try some.
It's definitely an acquired taste. I started out with the sweet wine. I actually really like Florida wine. Florida wine gets a bad rap. It's muscadine wine. People say it tastes twiggy, and it is really sweet, and you can't really compare it to like what other people consider wine, I guess. Mm-hmm. But it has a soft spot in my heart. So.
Okay, so I should try a sweet wine first then.
Yeah, I would do that. Ease your way in. It's like grape juice.
I have a couple questions. So being this is Thankful Thursday, I'm gonna have these every Thursday all the way up till Thanksgiving is what my plan is for right now.
I love it.
And I was pulling up the questions I have for you, and let's see, so during this pandemic time, I want this to be just very positive and positive vibe. You're a positive person, and so it's great to do this with you. And how did you make it through the pandemic? How are you making it through? What are some coping strategies you have to share with people?
So for me, the first few weeks, I actually I hate to say this, but I loved it. My husband works in Orlando, so he was commuting. He would commute an hour, hour and a half from Orlando. So he would commute in the mornings and I would be asleep then. So I didn't get an hour back, but I got an hour back in the evening with him because he started working from home and he has been since. So it was just really nice having him there, even though, I mean, he was working the whole time, but then we'd have that hour back at the end of the day just to kind of relax together and eat dinner earlier. So we weren't eating super late. And so that part was just really nice. And it was interesting, like overhearing him, like I really don't know what he does. He works with numbers. I don't do numbers well. But it was just been interesting kind of learning more about what he does. And then I picked puzzling back up. So I started doing puzzles again, and I realized how much I love it. I'm an old lady and I just bought myself a big puzzle board finally, because if we go back into the camper, there's really nowhere for me to have space for a puzzle. But there's this great puzzle board thing with sliding drawers that we'll just tuck under our couch when I'm not using it. So I did that. And then reading, I love to read. So I was just kind of spending the first 3 weeks, like when we were really kind of just shut in, doing all those things that I missed when I was just going so fast. So I think it did give everyone a chance to kind of slow down and realize, the rush and the craziness is a lot to keep up with. But then, as it kind of started going on, and then you have so many people out of work and it's tough just kind of trying to be mindful of and be thankful for the little moments that we're able to enjoy even during the craziness. So, and just watching like stories. I remember the story from Italy when everyone was out they would go out on the porches at a certain time at night and they'd all play or talk, like play music from their balconies and talk to each other. Just like watching things like that to just remind myself and be mindful of the cool things about community and just humanity that shone through everything that was going on and is still going on, but.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's so important to focus on the positive things, and being a Christian, for me, just thinking about what can I pray for? Who can I pray for? And reaching out to people, and whether it's my family members or just checking in on people, checking out on friends, see how they're doing, and just dropping a note in whether it's Marco Polo or a text or a phone call.
I totally agree with that. I went and bought postcard stamps so that I can like start sending postcards, because we did that when we were on the road. We sent postcards back home, but I was like, everyone loves snail mail, like snail mail that's not a bill or something that, of just a random flyer, something that's personal and to you. And then when we got back and we're seeing everybody, it was, I just, let it go. But I'm like, I need to start sending postcards again. Just some people we're not seeing, and some people, we still get a chance to see, depending on who's completely staying home, who's kind of, having smaller groups of people over and stuff like that. So I just actually need to get my postcards now so I can send them. I have my stamps, but
I get a bunch of stamps too. Sometimes I think we're kind of similar with probably how we do things in some ways. I have a bunch of stamps, so it's getting post office or driving to wherever I need to put it, or writing a to-do list, right? I need a to-do list.
I'm a big to-do list person. I've been trying to set aside a few minutes, and I fail most days, but I've been trying to set aside a few minutes in the morning to go sit out on the balcony and do devotion. And I'm I got this great book at Barnes and Noble, and I've tried to find it somewhere else because I've been telling people about it, and they're like, I don't know where to get it. And I can't find it anywhere other than the Barnes and Noble bargain thing. But it's just like a short prompt each day. You write a verse of the day. And then it's just 3 prompted questions, and they're different every day, which I like because it lets me think a little differently than if it was the same question every day, because I get bored easily. And so I try and take a few minutes to sit and do that. And just, even if I'm like, okay, I sit down and I only get 3 minutes in one day, but the next day I might sit and actually be there kind of thinking through things and praying for 10 minutes, has been helpful. And then after that, I try and do out a to-do list for the day. That part fails a lot of the time. But if I actually write myself checkable things, I'm very, very extrinsically motivated. I like, even if I'm just giving myself check marks. Yes, I get my check mark.
I'm like the line through person.
Yeah.
I think you're ahead of me on the list making. I usually just do it, but I'm at a time crunch. Like, okay, like, don't be stressed. Just write it down. Write down all these different things that need to happen, whether it's the homeschooling or we have somebody who was coming today to pick up some things. A cupboard door fell off, so we putting it back on. Some different things at our townhome that he's coming to fix. And so yesterday I did meet with a friend who she came over with her little child, and who was about 2, and I made a list to clean up.
Hey.
But
even if it's just one list a year, I think it's fine.
I should do it more often. I do love checklists so much. I like doing them. I probably do like once a week. So.
That's about where I get. Once a week, twice a week. I try.
I just think what we could accomplish with goals. I think with goals, if I do want to go to a certain place in YouTube, I would like to get monetized someday in the far off future.
Yes. I feel you. I'm like, it's just like, you're reaching. So I set goals for that. I try and set them weekly. I definitely set them monthly. But I do try to set weekly goals just to keep pace with where I am for the month. But that happens probably 2 weeks out of the month.
When is that goal realized for you? Do you have a certain timeline?
I'm hoping within a year, not within 2020, but within a year. When we were on the road, it was better. It's my watch hours that I struggle with, because I took such a break. When we got back to Florida, I stopped doing any videos for, I think it was like six months, maybe. I didn't put anything up. And so I kind of started from scratch with engagement and watch time. When I started getting new videos up, I think I started trying to post more regularly again around January. And then during COVID, when COVID first started, I was like, well, this gives me time, because I just lost time. Managing the wine bar is kind of it's not a 24/7 thing, but it's like a kind of drop everything when something's needed here. And so my schedule, like if I would start something, my schedule just got crazy. So I didn't really have time to focus on that. And then with COVID, we had to shut down, being a bar. And so it kind of gave me time to go back and remember why I liked YouTube so much and doing our videos, even if it's just to have them for myself. Like, that's why I started it. But I would like to be able to monetize and kind of use that as some potential in the future if we were to go back on the road or try and travel again, to be able to use that kind of as a supplement.
That's great. Do you know, you said you were teaching before in the morning. Was this for VIP Kid?
Yes.
Right?
So that was when we were on the road. That was basically our main source of income. He took a sabbatical from work and was teaching as well. It was easier for me coming from an education background, but he loved it in terms of he did like his students. He didn't so much the teaching wasn't, for him, but we both did it for the 9 months we were on the road. But because we stayed on Eastern time, the further out west we would get, we were getting up at 4:00 Eastern time, which is like 2:00 or whatever time it is out there. So we were just, our schedules that was the one thing that it was, I would say was probably like a downside to VIP Kid, was those hours with trying to stay on Eastern time. We just couldn't change our time zone because we were never in the same time zone for very long.
Do you, are you still, the pandemic affect your hours, would you say at all with?
It did. And then I was backing off anyways because of being here. I was doing 2 days a week, and then now I'm only doing 1 day a week. And then I lost a couple of those students. So right now I'm just sticking with a few regulars that want me to, want to have class. So right now I just have a handful of regulars.
That's mine too. When I had the baby in February, I took, this will be my fourth year by December with VIP Kid. And every time I have a baby, my hours dip, and then it takes a long time to build back up again. I would say it takes 6 months.
See that.
But it's different this time because I took longer off. Yeah, I think I took a solid 6 weeks, 8 weeks off.
Good.
Times before when I had a kid, I took 2 weeks off. I think one kid, and kind of start trickling back in, or maybe I think it was just a month. Yeah, a month off. But since it was longer, and the COVID thing happened, the parents were, enrolling their kids as much. They were all home, and so anyway, yes, I'm in a couple regulars too, which actually I'm okay with. Like you are too.
Right now, that's
what I can do, like 4 a.m. for so long. And
yeah. Those early morning hours, and I'm not an early person. I'm a night owl. Well, I'm neither. I'm a middayer. No, I don't like to be up late, and I don't like to get up early. So
we have some people in the comments. Madam Minima says, I agree with Melanie. I love the lockdown too, being rather introverted person. I don't really like to go outside. This sounds weird, doesn't it? I don't think so. I think that. Are you introverted? Would you say, Melanie?
Yeah, I'm extroverted, introverted. I do refuel a lot with like kind of time to myself, but I also do like being around people. In terms of like going out, I just don't like large crowds, and so the pandemic has been, even if we do go out, you're 6 feet away from another table. They're not right on top of you.
Yeah.
And I do like that. And I liked the excuse to stay in and just remember why I refuel so well, kind of.
Yeah. Having that quality time with your husband, that's so nice. I can see, I had just had my baby, and we had gone a second time into the hospital she had the rhinovirus back in March, which is basically a cold that turned into has a little bit of like rashes bumped with it, basically. A lot really common for like babies to get and stuff. So we had all had a cold back in March, and then she got more sick, and then high fever, and had to go in the hospital, and having a spinal tap check. She was, so it was not fun going into the hospital for that. It's my first kid to be admitted that young.
Okay.
None of my kids have gone back into the hospital before, so it was very strange. But God helped us through it, and so she has 105 temp one time in the hospital. So they thought she had a brain, what's it called, meningitis, viral meningitis, or not bacterial, which is worse, but it was viral meningitis. So it won't show up on the test, but they just thought it was viral because of her temp being so high. But so they had an IV, but she was a very big baby, so that was helpful. She was 9 pounds when she was born, so because of that, so people would meet her in the room like, oh, how many months is she? I said, oh, she's only 3 weeks old. She's that big.
She's a big baby.
Yeah, she's just a cute little.
She needed it.
Yeah. Yeah. So even now um she she's she's an 18 months close, so it gives you an idea. But she's just a long torso, So
Yeah.
right now and we have also Miss Kathy said, "What is the name of the book, Melanie, that you mentioned
Oh.
a couple minutes ago?"
And it's something gratitude. It's a cup, a daily dose of gratitude. I think it's a blue cover. It's she's holding it.
I'll type that in here.
Maybe it's female hands. I don't know, but it's hands holding a cup of coffee. And I think it's a daily dose of gratitude. When I get home, I'll add it to the comments below.
Okay. I'll let you do that. I'll let you write the right
I
one.
think it's a daily dose of gratitude. I only found it at Barnes & Noble. I've looked on Amazon. I've looked on Lifeway, and I was having a hard time finding it. But maybe you will find it better than I could. So.
Cozy Brit 1331 says, "Hey Rachel, hey, I'm not sure. Do you know who that is? Maybe you can type your.
I don't.
Maybe she's from our group. Maybe.
Is it the mom and daughter team?
Oh yeah, probably.
Yes, I think so.
Briscoe and Stateside?
Yes, I think so. I'm trying to remember the name of their channel.
I think it's Briscoe Stateside.
Okay, so it's not.
I don't know. Okay. Maybe it's like her. Maybe she is a couple.
Maybe. Or maybe it's somebody else. Hello.
Somebody else. Yeah. If you want, you can type her name or your first name and say where you know us from. That'd be great. Yeah, if you have any questions, do you have any questions for Miss Melanie? And what she's thankful for?
What is everybody else thankful for today?
Yeah, what is everybody else thankful for? That's a good question. Thank you. What's everybody else thankful for? Type in the chat what you are thankful for, and we will read it live. You watch by all YouTube.
How open are things where you are?
Well, since we're in North Dakota, we're right by Minnesota. So Minnesota, North Dakota, because of Minnesota has about 5 times the amount of people than we do, even though we're about the same size. Minnesota's slightly bigger, geographically wise, but we have so few people here because of all the farmers. And it's farmland, okay. Closer to the Badlands. And so our restrictions have never been as much as other places.
Gotcha.
And because of our cases too are significantly lower than any other state. But we do have cases here and they have been higher more recently. I think maybe a 50 in our county.
Okay.
That have it. 50 active ones, but a month ago there is like about 7, so that kind of gives you an idea.
Gotcha.
It hasn't been spreading as fast in North Dakota, but I think a lot more people getting tested, and because of also the more people being tested, but school starting just
right.
So
that changes things for sure.
Yeah. So the rules of what's closed. One point, back in March, it was only the essential that was open.
Right.
The chiropractor. So he was open. So I did tell him, honey, would it be great if you could be home with me for like 2 weeks? He's like, no, honey, that would be great. that would mean my work stopped.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, shoot.
Oh, darn.
Not pray for that. Because sometimes I think something and I'm like, oh, maybe, honey, I'm gonna. He's like, did you pray for that when something happens? Or I say, I prayed for that. It's like, really? Like, yeah, I did. So anyway, so I mean, what was she good to like tell up? Tell over Zoom. Do what I'm trying to say? Telemeeting type meeting. If he doesn't quite work.
No. The place, the chiropractor we go to here, because they were considered essential as well, but just people weren't going out, so he did a by appointment only for I think the first month, and then went back to a regular schedule as things started kind of opening up again, and it wasn't just essential business.
I see. Yeah, we know here, and he is his boss in Fargo. So it's like the movie Fargo, if you've heard that.
Yeah.
His name. But we used to live in Fargo, so we were there for about I think 4 years, and then we came down here because his boss asked him to help start up the clinic that was here. So his boss put up the clinic and said, "Hey, can you move your family down to this town? We're in Wapaton, about an hour south of Fargo." And so we're growing still. So he's the only person there. It was him, the marketer person, and the desk person. So not many people there. So that in that way, people wanted, to come in, they could. So and in North Dakota, there is no mask mandate in North Dakota.
Gotcha.
In some towns, they were voting on something in Fargo. I don't know if it's gone through or not. A lot of places require masks, like, hey, wear a mask when you come in. So most people are wearing masks into places unless they have something. But it's up to the business individually. Is what it is here in North Dakota. So if that helps answer your question.
Yeah, I just didn't know like how they were, what all.
Yeah, a lot of places are doing things online.
Oops, sorry.
A lot of places are doing things only online, like driver's license place is not open at all. For walk-ins, you have to have an appointment, and it's by 10 minutes, that sort of thing.
Okay.
So I think a lot of people we're social distancing a lot all summer. We're in spring. I think they're starting to come. Nice thing, there's the parks. It's so beautiful here that we meet each other a lot in parks or that sort of thing.
That makes sense.
It's like 70s right now this week.
Not here.
Well, we had 50 last week, and so we're like, this is cold. We dipped down into the 30s, and all our plants froze, and our little petunias wilted that I had in front, and so like, oh, we kind of hope it lasts longer. So anyway, so we're kind of like, woohoo, 70.
Yeah, we had 2 days last weekend of like 70s, low 80s, and that was like, yes. Actually, I think it did hit at night. It kind of hit the mid 70s, and it was so nice. So for us, it was like, it's kind of chilly, but
we're all going outside, and it's really nice. My Saint Bernard, Newfoundland, she gets hot still, so I can't wait. She's looking forward to cooler weather, I think.
I love it. Those are some of my favorite dogs.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
What do you have? I can't remember.
We have a cat. Her name is Prim. She.
Cats are great too. Cats are great too.
They are, and she's wonderful. She's getting more cuddly in her older age. She didn't used to really like to hang out, but she likes to be near me on the couch, and now she'll sleep at like the foot of the bed. She started doing that when we were on the road. She was an indoor-outdoor cat when we were at home in Orlando, and so she had to get used to being inside when we went on the road, and I think that made her more cuddly. I don't know. So
that's precious. She's 1 year old. Our dog is, so she's lots of fun.
puppy.
I'm gonna start a YouTube channel video. That's the one video she's mostly in.
Okay.
Bloopers across her face sometimes, so it's kind of funny. I'm sitting on the floor, and she's a big invitation for her to.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember that video. Yeah.
So, Miss Kathy says, "I'm thankful for beautiful weather today, especially thankful to see sweet Melanie doing so well."
Oh, thank you, Miss Kathy. So Miss Kathy was she and her husband were our youth leaders at church with me and my friends growing up, and just very, very sweet, dear people to my heart. So I hope to get to see you soon.
Oh, that'd be great. Bye, Madam Minma.
Together.
Have a good night. Bye, lovely ladies. I'm off to bed now, and we have to wrap up too. My husband's gonna head back to work. He's watching the kiddos downstairs. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
I'd love to collaborate with you again sometime.
Yes, I would love to do that. This was great.
Good. Thank you so much. Goodbye,
Thanks. Oh, bye,
everyone.
everybody.
Goodbye.